Professor Singh, welcome to DD India News App. Now, Minister Jaishankar says he is not going to Pakistan for talks on bilateral issues, but to attend an SCO multilateral summit. So, nothing changes insofar as India-Pakistan relations are concerned?
I think this is a very fine and very important distinction that Foreign Minister has sought to make. That India's commitment to multilateralism, India's commitment to Shanghai Cooperation Organization stands as it is. Obviously, Shanghai Cooperation Organization is the world's largest regional organization, one of the most multilateral organizations. As your report just mentioned, a large number of 10 members, observers, special invitees, but it also has very special relationship with several other multilateral organizations. So it's a very important organization, and India's commitment to multilateralism stands. But at the same time, of course, the standard line on Pakistan is that there is no clear indication of Pakistan having given up on use of terrorism vis-a-vis India. And we have the same policy, terror and talk will not go together. So I think it's a fantastic diplomaties that one is hearing from the foreign minister, that it's not a bilateral visit. It's a visit to reflect India's commitment to multilateral Shanghai Cooperation Organization. Maybe some people in Pakistan media have been mentioning that they were hoping Prime Minister Modi is going to attend this, meeting of heads of government. But they should know that historically, since 2017, Prime Minister Modi has always attended heads of state meeting, which is the highest body meeting. In fact, Pakistani prime ministers likewise also only attend heads of state meeting and not heads of government meeting. So this misplaced expectation, I think maybe why the foreign minister needed to explain that as to why foreign minister is going and how, in what capacity he is going to attend it.
Now, by way of context, if I may quickly inform our viewers that this would be the first ministerial visit from India to Pakistan since the year 2015. Now, Professor Singh, you spoke about terrorism and extremism in that context, and that gives me a perfect segue into my next question to you. How do you view Pakistan hosting Zakir Naik, a controversial Islamic preacher? He is someone who is wanted in India for alleged money laundering and inciting extremism through hate speech.
I think the even stronger example remains Bin Laden being given sanctuary in Pakistan. So Pakistan has been host of several such characters who the whole world has sort of designated as terrorists. And Zakir's visit is just, I think, in that line, similarly showcasing Pakistan's inclination to constantly, either give sanctuaries or give some kind of encouragement to people who other countries, including India, for example, may not be, very comfortable in Pakistan encouraging such outfits or individuals. And I think it will be an important occasion here because Shanghai Cooperation Organization fundamentally focuses on countering terrorism and energy security. And obviously, I'm sure this issue will crop up. I'm sure either in media or in some conversations that External Affairs Minister will have with people there. And I think it's a bad timing for Pakistan to host such an individual from India soon, on the eve of, in that sense, of world's largest regional organization that primarily focuses on extremism, separatism, and terrorism. This could boomerang, I suppose, on Pakistani hosts in that sense.
Indeed. Another, issue I want to raise is, Professor Singh, do you think the conclusion of an election in Jammu Kashmir sends the right message not only to Pakistan but the rest of the world as well?
I think that, again, India has always held as free and fair possible elections in Jammu and Kashmir. And that is how India has had a very different kind of imagination around the world as to how India has handled Kashmir issue and how Pakistan has handled Kashmir issue. India has always allowed popularly elected governments to rule in Jammu and Kashmir. Whereas in case of Pakistan-occupied Kashmir, we know the kind of difficulties people have faced there, the kind of representation that they have not been able to produce or allow them to govern themselves. So this is quite in line with India's tradition of respecting and celebrating democracy, that a successful conclusion of elections in Jammu and Kashmir, again on the eve of Shanghai Cooperation Organization, is I think a message to Pakistan which clearly means that, India is a country that most Kashmiris are going to stay with and want to stay with. And they find that they have as much of freedom, as much of rights as any other Indian state or Indian citizen has. And that again, on eve of Shanghai Cooperation Organization being hosted in Islamabad, is an indication of where India stands and what India does and what Pakistan does. And in that sense, I'm sure several of these questions are very likely to come up either, on the sidelines of meetings, or I'm sure media would also be covering some of these issues.
Indeed. And going back to the issue of the Shanghai Cooperation Organization Summit, Professor Singh, how do you view India's participation at the summit? What is SCO's relevance, if any, to India's foreign relations?
Very clearly, Shanghai Cooperation Organization is, I keep mentioning, world's largest regional organization. Geographically, it covers about 80% of Eurasia, 32% of global GDP in purchasing power terms. There is great excitement. Countries like Bangladesh, Vietnam, some other countries, Turkey, are interested in joining Shanghai Cooperation Organization, which shows that it has enormous efficacy and attraction as a multilateral organization. And since India has from the very beginning been a strong flag bearer of multilateralism in international relations, India clearly stands out as an important country participating in these. And I think we recently had Iran joining it and Belarus joining this year. Possibly some other countries are also, possibly likely to join the Shanghai Cooperation Organization, making it already from 30 plus to much more countries becoming integral part of either as observers or as special invitees or dialogue partners or as members. So since it is one of the rather effective and large multilateral regional organizations, and India being really the largest population country, the buzzing growing economy from fifth largest to be soon third largest, in that sense, the focus of the SCO on security in terms of terrorism, countering terrorism and energy security is again very integral issues to India. India's initiatives in international solar lands and biofuels and other sort of disaster resistance infrastructure and so on have made India a very visible and very attractive candidate in participating in a multilateral forum like Shanghai Cooperation Organization. And I'm sure that a very, very erudite and articulate external affairs minister will make his presence really felt. And he's always been in all, let me say, so far heads of government meetings of Shanghai Cooperation Organization, it's been invariably either the external affairs minister or defense minister representing India. So there is nothing different here in this case, except as you mentioned, after a long period of time, this is going to be a first ministerial level meeting, visit from India to Pakistan. And on 12th of September, when Commerce Minister Piyush Goyal was supposed to go, we saw that Commerce Secretary had gone in his place. So that is, I think, also significant to see how the first ministerial meeting after a long period of time, particularly of External Affairs Minister to Islamabad, what it means. Does it make any difference for bilateral relations?
Indeed. Professor Singh, pleasure as always to talk to you. Thank you for joining us and sharing your thoughts and insights with our viewers at home and abroad. Thank you for your time. Much appreciated.